dreams, left the sunshine behind. Now Arkansas calls, where the land's untamed and wild. Gary, Mary, Miller, we're carving out of space, building a homestead.
Howdy y'all. Well, today we got rain again. But we got Jeff's machine back here in the shop. Got the cab lifted back off of it. Tony and I were on the phone for about an hour today, testing different things. And he finally got the schematic to it. So he's basically, we're walking through together, reading the schematic and trying to figure out why this thing isn't working. So we've determined that we've got to take the fan back off, or the cab back off, and take it all back out and check some resistance, because for some reason we're not getting the amount of voltage that we're supposed to. So that's what we're in the process of doing now. So I'll bring you along for some of that and show you how to test some of these things and what to look for if your AC quits like this one did. All right, so we'll be back. All right, y'all. Well, thought I had it on record this whole time, but come to find out I didn't have it on record. So after talking to Tony and everything and figuring out what was going on with this thing, basically I had to scan this system right here and figure out why this motor would not work. Well, come to find out, there's a ground wire that's right here. And when you replace this fan, the ground wire it wasn't plugged in when I got the old motor out, okay? So come to find out, this plug is buried back behind the fan. And when you look at down right here, when you look at these little slots right here, okay, down through there, they just look like normal slots. I rotated this fan a couple of times, never seen the little plug, because it was kind of pushed into one of those little holes. So I never seen it. So after diagnosing and testing out all the wiring, we realized, okay, that this was our problem altogether. Okay, we weren't getting power to this switch. So hang on. Anyway, we weren't getting power to this switch. So now that we got power, once we figured out that the ground was unplugged back there, then we figured out, okay, fan's working now. Let's figure out why there's no power. Because we were only getting a certain amount of voltage up to these plugs. And once we diagnosed that part, and we were, I should say, not diagnosed it, but once we got the ground on there, we were able to figure out, looking at the wiring diagram, that these right here, this switch was bad. Because, you know, on a switch, if you don't know what wires go where and what does what, it's really hard to, you know, to diagnose a switch bad, especially a 7-pin switch. So once we got going through that, we ran a jumper wire across the switches, and sure enough, we got the fan to kick on. So I'm going to show you that here real quick, okay? So you can kind of get an idea what I did. Basically, once we figured out what wires went where, we come right over here and we put this wire right in here. And this is on our fan. And then we come and we get our direct power, which is the one right next to it. Fan. Okay, and then we've got another one right next to it. Well, it's supposed to be low fan right there. Anyway, oh, might help if I put it back in the right one. So we got low and we got high. So we now have AC, the fan blowing. So I'm going to put it all back together. And the fun part, getting all this little stuff right here all back in place. I'm going to put it all back together and we're going to fire it up and we're gonna make sure that we got AC kicking, y'all. So I'll bring you back here as soon as I get it put back together. I'll put you on time lapse, show you what I'm doing putting it back together, and we'll go from there. All right, see you in short. So something I wanted to show you. It's kind of funny because I couldn't reach the switch, which is way up there, to be able to turn the key switch on and off while working on this, right? So I had to take a ratchet strap and strap the cab so it came down so far to where I could reach it. So now I've got to release the ratchet strap, let it go back up, and be able to put everything back together. So yeah, you should have seen me trying to hold this thing back up like that and hold it down and be able to put the ratchet strap on it. So let's make that happen. Guess that's got to be the first thing that happens here, and we'll get her back going. So now the fun part. So as you can see, it doesn't take very much. In fact, like I said, you got to kind of hold it so it doesn't just snap up there. Oh wait, I got to turn the key off. Well, I guess I'm going to try to reach up there and do that. I'm just going to leave the key on for right now because I ain't no way I'm going to do that all over again. So let's see if we can get this dog back in here together. And this is always the funnest part of the whole deal right here, is getting this dog all back in here like it's supposed to. There we go. Just gotta be smarter than the toys I'm playing with. Well, maybe. And you gotta kind of be easy with this, putting this back together so you don't damage them coils. Because I've already went through coil cleaning them, the whole 9 yards, you know, and straightening the fins out. And now I've got something hitting in here. Probably a wiring harness that there she goes. Yep. Little wire in my way right there. So now you can pick the whole thing back up. And get down in here and get your ductwork to go back on. I think that's probably the hardest part, is getting the ductwork to match the line back up. because you can't really climb up in there very well. Like that. Sweet. One down, 42 more to go. Lined up. Sweet. Now if we just get our bolts back in, she should pull right back together. Yeah, and she didn't have all the clips on her, so she only had one clip on the whole thing. So somebody's been in it before playing with it. Now we gotta get some light and line up our holes. And here's where the fun part comes in. And usually if you can get one to start, you can get the rest of them to go right in. I say usually. Murphy's Law says no. Yep, see, Murphy's Law. No, not today, because you're doing it on film. You're going to put it on camera, we're not going to let it happen. Yep, that's part of the course. Because you're on camera, it ain't going to go back together like it did before. Before I was able just to get her, she went back in there pretty easy. Of course now it's not going to because I'm recording it. Alright, so you get the one started, and then the other ones you can line up as you go there. Like that. Well, alright, was lined up. Come on, give me a mud spot to hold up the light here. Yeah. All right, that's 2. Now the other 2 should go in sweet. In theory. And yes, this is how you get your heater motor out. You got 4 bolts underneath this track right here. Four bolts underneath this track holds this whole thing in. And this is your heat, your AC, the whole 9 yards. Now we did find out that most of these units are all aftermarket. So all the heat and AC controls are all aftermarket. So this is how you do it. You take your cab, the 2 cab bolts out right here. They're up underneath here. I showed you that once before. And I'll show you again real quick now that we've got some light on the subject. So you got these, where are you at? Right there. See those bolts right there? So those 2 bolts go down through these 2 holes. And there's just 2 15/16 nuts that go on there. All right? So pull those 2 nuts off, the whole cab will lift up off of here like that. And everything stays connected. You can access your hydraulic pumps, your differential valves, all that kind of stuff for the pumps. That's your main pump right there. So right there's your reservoir, that little bit thing right there. And there's your fuel filler and hydraulic filler up there. So, and then this is all your AC and stuff right here. So anyway, now that you've got the gist of all that, we did find out there are no fuses on this system that control any of that fan and that heat and AC. This is all just a series of relays and direct power. So now you know. Now you will be in the know. So you got it. So I'm going to put the rest of it back together, and we're going to get the cab brought down and all that good stuff, and then we'll get we're going to fire it up. And I'll show you. You've seen the fan kicking already, so I'll show you. We're gonna get the cooling. We're gonna be cool. And this is the other fun part here. So now that we've got that all bolted together, we've got our ductwork back in place. I do have to put 1 screw back in this little spot right here real quick. See, and this is another thing. This is how I know that somebody's had this apart once before. Because you see this? That's supposed to be the screw hole for the duct to hold together right there. Somebody put another screw in it. That's how I know. So, alright. See if we can get this cab down. Now this part can be a little challenging here. Getting the cab back down. We're going to do our best to make that pretty visible for you here so you can see how it goes. And if you're short, get a ladder or get a tall guy hanging out with you. Oh, forgot the safety. That's kind of important. There's a little safety lock over here. Now here's what I do. I just take this and I fold the safety lock forward like that. I put the screwdriver right there. And when you're pulling this down, now it will catch the hole right there, like that. And the screwdriver will just fall out and it'll just come right down. And here's the part where you wish you had a big guy hanging with you. You would think gravity would take over and this thing would pull down, but it doesn't. Okay. Now for those of you who don't remember I had to put a C-clamp on this once before. And it just so happens we have a C-clamp right over here. He said, "Get out the big one." I am the big one. This is what we had to do last time. We had to put a C-clamp on this thing and get her to come down. And once you put the C-clamp on it, you'll feel the bolts. They'll fall right into place. Unless you lose the rubber on the bottom side. then they're a little challenging to get up in there, but it goes. But the if these new lifts, I just got these at Walmart. So that really does help put it all together for you. We'll move it over here to this side, and we'll crank this side down. Make sure you're both lined up first. That one fall into place, but the other one didn't. If I remember right, this is the one that had the tap down once before, because it's buried down in here. Alright, now she's in there. We gotta put our little seals back on real quick, which is pretty simple for the most part. This one didn't have them all anyway, so, well, didn't have them all intact anyway, I should say. There's only one right there, and then there was another one right there, but it wasn't in the greatest of shape. And then that one goes right there, and you got to do this before you crank this last one down. Otherwise you'll never get these in here. And you'll be taking it back apart and hating life. So the one that was across here was pretty much, as soon as I lifted the cab up the first time, it just basically fell apart. But I'm gonna see if I can't find a couple of pieces that we had for it, and see if we can't maybe try to seal it up, or I might just get one of them pieces of noodle and stick in there. It's like that one's there, but that's not sealing up very well. But with the fan and AC working good now, shouldn't really have to worry about it. But like I said, that one part right there, it literally broke apart in pieces. So I don't know if I saved all the pieces or not. Like, I'm not finding them, so I might have gotten rid of all those pieces. But that's all right. Like I said, we can always loosen this up later and put little pieces of foam in there if Jeff decides he wants it in there. But this is a little tiny cab. Not like you're gonna need a lot of air moving in here. This fan blows pretty hard. All right. Remember. Alright, extra battery died, but we got her going on here. Now the fun part. Get the door back on. And this is not light enough. Not light at all. But pretty much a necessity. You want AC to work good. Get it in the hole. There you go. That's what it was. Wasn't holding my mouth right. I didn't tell it what to do. So, all right, that's working. So filter back on. Pick up our tools. Now I gotta tell you, it's always a good feeling. Always a good feeling when you fix it. Figure it out, you know? Uh-oh. I put it somewhere to be safe. Gotta put my little ink cap filter back on. Still kicking. All right. Yeah, can't find my little end cap holder. Put it all together.